They seek her here, they seek her there, they seek her flaming everywhere.
Can I help you, madam?
Don't tell me you've given to the rag bowman for 2 rubbing stones.
What?
I don't know. Looked everywhere for her. I don't know where she is. I can't find her at all.
Oh, Hilda. I don't think she's been in yet.
Thought she was supposed to make tea around here.
Oh, shall I put the kettle on?
No, I seem to have more time on my hands than you do. Hey, kid, do you get the feeling that business is dropping off?
Yes. Perhaps it's something we said.
Oh, Sandra, for heaven's sake, cheer up. Women come to hairdressing saloons to be pampered, not to be frightened to death.
Is everything all right, love?
Of course.
Is Ray all right?
Why shouldn't he be?
Oh, there you are. Wondering where you got to.
Oh, I forgot to put it in the pudding basin. The clock, like, you know.
Oh.
Oh, it can seem awful big, can that double bed? Especially when you're used to having company in it.
Oh, I see. Stand still on nights.
Me and my Stan, not one flesh. First time since we was last separated. It's the little things you miss most, you know.
Oh?
Like waking up in the middle of the night and finding he's got all the bedclothes.
Does he know you can't sleep without him?
Oh, I couldn't tell him. Not when he's been so self-effacing about it. He's never been very strong, hasn't my Stan, you know. And what I'm wondering is, how much longer can he stand it himself?
Excuse me, Mrs. That's it.
Oh, heck, you're full of the joys of spring this morning, aren't you, Stan Ogden? Here's the first cuckoo, have you?
Jack, you're looking at somebody who's cracked it with a capital K.
Oh. Hey, don't tell me you've got yourself finally sacked from that night shift job that your Hilda got you.
Oh, night shift's not so bad if you know what you're doing.
Oh,
Of course, there's night shifts and night shifts, huh?
oh.
What would you say if I was to tell you I got a night shift job where I can kit most of the night? Plus a few drinks in the club round the corner, plus all the sympathy from Howley because she knows nought about it.
I'd say you've been drinking, except it's a bit too early.
Ah.
Or that you had finally cracked it.
Ah.
Hey, just a minute. Where the heck do you think you're going?
Well, it's opening time, isn't it?
Oh, another 10 minutes yet. Huh? This is not a blooming nightclub.
Ah. Hey, you got the right time. 25 past. Flipping traitor.
Oh, Mr. Howard.
Hello, Mrs. Walker.
You know, I felt sure that the right moment would present itself eventually.
The right moment?
Well, in case there were any misapprehensions between us.
I think you have the advantage of me, Mrs.
Oh, come now, Mr. Howard. It can't have escaped your notice that one of the leading members of our little community has so far been conspicuous by her absence from your salon.
Well, now that you come to mention it.
Well, now, I wouldn't like you to think for one moment that the reason that I haven't so far patronized your establishment was because of its location.
Well...
No, the fact that you operate in a humble environment never entered my mind.
Well, that's very nice of you to say so.
It's just that before entrusting my coiffure to a new salon, I do like it to settle.
Yes, I understand.
Well, that period of time has now elapsed, so I think you'll be glad to hear that I shall be making an appointment in the very near future.
Well, that's most encouraging. I must have a word with my girls and make sure that they're on their best behavior on that day. You don't anticipate any difficulties then, Mr. Pickett?
Difficulties?
Oh, getting planning permission for all this?
Oh, I shouldn't think so.
Good.
I mean, the men and women just the same as we are, aren't they, corporation committees?
Quite.
I mean, they must realise what this development must mean to you, just as me and Miss Nugent here do.
Of course.
Of course, it doesn't do to bank on anything too much these days, does it?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, things might seem set fair for you, and then it's the last person in the world you'd think has let you down. Oh, isn't that so, Miss Nugent?
Yes, well, I'll better be going off to the bank then. Emily?
Well, Emily?
Tell me, Mr. Pickett, how do you feel when you look yourself in the eye in the mirror every morning?
Well, it depends how much ale I've had the night before. Well, are you going to get that estimate for me from Fairclough, or aren't you?
I don't really appear to have much choice, do I?
That's free world.
Not as long as there are entrepreneurs like you around, Mr. Piggott.
Aye, well, let's drop the grammar school French, shall we? Look, are you or aren't you? That's all I want to know.
As I've said already, you don't really leave me any choice.
Good.
Although how I'm going to achieve it is completely beyond me just at the moment.
Oh, you'll find a way. Love always does, doesn't it? Love. Oh, well, I'll say ta-ra then. Or should it be au revoir?
When are they due to go, then?
Pardon?
The Houses of Parliament. Or is it Buckingham Palace you and him are thinking of blowing up this time?
I'm sure that remark must have deep personal significance, Mrs. Sharples, but it does seem to escape me just at the moment.
Sandra wants to help you. Why won't you let her?
I never said I wouldn't let her. I said I'd think about it.
What's there to think about? They are engaged, you
Oh,
know.
look, I've said I'll think about it. Now let's drop the subject, shall we?
But it's for your own good, Audrey.
Yeah. Oh, not now, love. Look, why don't you go for a drink or something? You don't know the ages yet.
Yeah. Why not? Funny, we were just talking about you, weren't we? Love.
If you're looking for Ray, he's down at the yard.
I wasn't.
Oh, well, what did you want then? Because as you can see, I'm really very busy.
I won't keep you. About what you said, about Ray only being with me because he's tied to a wheelchair.
Well?
You didn't really mean it, did you?
Didn't I?
What did you?
Oh, look, do you mind? Only I do have a dinner to get ready.
Look, I just want to know if you did or you didn't.
Oh,
that's
what does
all.
it matter?
It matters to me.
Only it's not only me as says it, is it? I mean, everybody round here knows.
You're a flaming liar.
What?
Liar.
Look, just get out
You
of
wouldn't
here
have
with
said
it.
that in front of him, would you?
I said get out.
Hey, what's with you and Ray, Mrs. Fleming?
Get out!
Settling down all right at school then, are they? The twins, like?
Funny you should mention that, Hilda.
Oh?
Yeah, they only stuck it a week.
Oh, did they walk out, the little monkeys?
No. The teachers did.
Oh. Oh, grow up before you know it, don't they?
So I'm told.
Funny, though. When you're a kid, all you want to do is be grown up. And then when you are grown up, you sometimes think you'd give anything to go back. Things always seem more straightforward when I were a kid.
Oh, come on, Hilda, cheer up. With a bit of luck, your Stan will be back on the dole this time next week.
Oh, no. No, once he gets interested in something like the Rock of Gibraltar is my Stan. Any road, that's not really the answer.
Oh?
No, you see, it's a long story, but if he loses his job, I'll lose mine and all.
Oh, in that case, there's only one thing you can do about it, isn't there?
What's that?
Have to get a night shift job yourself, won't you? And both become creatures of the night. But don't blame me if people go around saying you're both being bitten by a vampire.
Oh, hey. Well, on that happy note, I think I'll leave you. Hello,
Hello, Hilda. What she want?
She just wanted the loan of a hammer.
Oh.
Yeah, I think she wanted to drive a wooden stake through their Stanley's heart.
What?
Well, it seems every time there's a full moon, he starts sprouting hairs all over his face and running around howling like a wolf, and she doesn't know what to do about it.
Did you tell her?
Yes, love, I did. I told her to buy him a new blade.
You're mad.
Ah, that's what they kept telling Dr. Frankenstein.
What she really want?
A bit of comfort, I think. Apparently her Stanley's got a night shift job that he likes, and she's got nobody to put her feet on.
She doesn't know how lucky she is, does she?
Well, I wouldn't know about that, love. I've never really slept with Stanley Ogden. There was a Stan Brownlow I slept with once. Along with 7 others after a university party, and I was blind drunk at the time.
Oh, that figures.
Those are the days, when I was young and free and actually used to go to parties.
You complaining?
No, I'm not exactly complaining, love. I'm just wondering why it is.
Why, what is?
Oh, it is that the more and more married you get, the less and less entertaining you seem to do.
It's my pipes.
Oh, is it?
I think they're all blocked up. It's the cold snap.
Have you thought of going to a doctor for a bottle for him?
Oh, I don't think that would do much good. I've tried poking up them with a stick, though. It's like a music hall, all this, isn't it? And then I've wrapped hot rags round that bit that sticks out from the wall. That's good, isn't it?
I reckon we're better than Morecambe and White on this one.
Yeah, I reckon we are.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, though. I'm right up to here with work at the moment, love.
Oh, dear.
But for you, darling, I'll come round this afternoon, eh?
Oh, thanks very much.
All right.
Mr. Baker.
Yes, darling. Oh, don't tell me your pipes are frozen up and all.
I take it the deadline for the tender is still Monday morning?
Yeah.
In that case, here are the balances you asked me to supply.
Oh, thank you very much.
I think you'll find everything hunky-dory with them.
You what?
Hunky-dory. That is completely satisfactory.
Oh, yes, yes.
In that case, do you think we could press on with the final estimates as soon as possible? I do, as you know, have other responsibilities.
I shouldn't worry about the final estimates if I were you. Ray Langton and me'll work them out between us.
But I don't understand.
What's to understand? You've done all the spade work on this. Me and Ray will finish it off. And we'll get all the credit for it when we get the job. And as far as your other commitments are concerned, give him a kiss for me while you're at it.
Up a bit, love. A bit more. Oh!
Did you hurt yourself?
Well, if I did, it must have been in one of them places I still can't feel. And let's face it, there's not many of them left now.
What do you mean?
The most amazing sensations, darling. Right up to my kneecaps. It's just like having your own legs.
Oh.
Well, look, don't chuck money with delight, but try and look flaming pleased about it.
Sorry.
What's up with you? You've had a face like a flaming bass fiddle ever since I got here.
Sorry.
Don't keep saying you're sorry, just tell me what's up. Happen we can do something about it. Hey, remember me? I'm the bloke you proposed to. Well, now what have I said?
It's no use, Mr. Piggott. The situation's completely beyond redemption.
Rubbish.
But I tell you it is. Mr. Fairclough's already told me. They intend to work out the final figure themselves.
More than they're capable of.
Just what do I have to do to make you see, Mr. Piggott?
You're what we might call a bit of a scholar round here, aren't you, Miss Nugent?
I fail to see what academic achievement has to do with all this.
The lessons of history, Miss Nugent. I wasn't much cop at school myself, but there's one character I shall never forget about.
Al Capone?
Huh. Robert the Bruce, Miss Nugent. It seems things weren't going too well for him at one time. He was thinking of chucking his hand in.
Really?
And then one day, he sees this spider climbing up, slipping down, climbing up, slipping down.
I have heard the story, Mr. Piggott.
Then learn from it, Miss Nugent. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Are they going to work out that estimate themselves or what?
I've already told you that they are going to work out the estimate themselves.
And I'm telling you that they can't. They think they can, but they can't. Or at least it's your job to persuade them that they can't, if you want to save your Mr. Bishop's precious pipe dream. Oh, well, Ernie, we were just talking about you and yours, weren't we, Emily?
Nothing uncomplimentary, I hope.
Not really.
Going out again, are we?
If that's all right with you,
Yes, only, well, you do seem to have been in and out all day, Emily.
I'll try to make up for it tomorrow.
Oh, it's not that. I mean, feel free to come and go as you like, only... Well, there's nothing wrong, is there?
Wrong?
Yes, only, you know, when I first mooted this scheme, you seemed as full of it as I was, but now... Well, you will tell me if you've changed your mind, won't you?
Oh, why on earth should I change my mind?
No reason I can think of. Only, I had a proposition to put to you.
Oh?
Yes, a partnership. A purely business partnership, you know, but a partnership in the business. What do you say?
Well, it's really very generous of you, Ernest, but I couldn't possibly consider anything so momentous just at the moment.
What else did she say?
Not much. Only as everybody else in the street thought it as well. Do they?
I'm going back to the yard. Mr. Fairclough might be worrying in case somebody's run off with me.
Oh, and I didn't even have to tell you to get it cut, neither.
What do you reckon, then?
You know, you put me in mind of Ronald Coleman when you've had the crop.
Well, TTFN.
Oh, don't go yet, Chuck. It's like a blooming chapel arrest in here this afternoon. How about a nice cup of tea done just how you like it?
Oh, no. I better get my head down. I mean, I don't want to fall asleep on the job tonight, do I?
Hey, Stan.
What?
You don't think that, it's all a bit too much for your strength, you know, all this lack of sleep, like? Because if your health was being affected and you feel you'd be better off on the dole, well, I wouldn't stand in your way.
Oh, no. I couldn't do that, love. I mean, apart from the fact of letting you down, I'd be letting myself down, wouldn't I?
Oh, Stan.
Oh, hello, Hilda. Are you still here?
Yeah.
Oh, I should get off then. Everybody else is already gone.
Oh, right.
What's all this, an unofficial strike?
Oh, I hope you don't mind, but we didn't seem to be doing anything at all, so we decided to close early.
Oh?
Is it all right?
Well, yes, I suppose so, as long as you're prepared to return the compliment someday.
Oh, of course.
Mrs. Tanner gone too?
Yes, she went about half an hour ago to catch the shops.
Well, you run along. I'll knock up.
Oh, thanks. You probably saved my marriage.
Why's that?
Well, Ken's in one of his what's-it-all-about moods, so I thought I'd make a special effort tonight.
Lucky man.
Oh, it's only chicken and chips. It's not Chateaubriand.
Well, if it comes to Chateaubriand, I'd sooner have chicken and chips.
Would you like to come?
What?
To have a meal with us tonight.
No, I couldn't possibly.
Why can't you?
Well, in the first place, because it's very short notice for you.
Oh, it's a huge chicken. Honestly, you'd be doing me a big favour if you did.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, when he gets in one of his what's-it-all-about moods, we usually end up having somebody around from school for dinner, and they haven't washed for a week and want to change the world.
Well, if you put it like that, how can I refuse?
Good.
On one condition.
What?
That I'm allowed to bring the wine.
All right. Oh, we don't usually have any, but all right. I'll see you about 7 then.
Fine.
Mr. Fairclough! Mr. Fairclough! Oh! Oh, you frightened me.
Did I? Perhaps I should have a bell I could ring, then folks will know it's me that's coming. It's what they used to do in the old days, isn't it? With folks that were afflicted.
I was looking for Len.
Oh?
Well, is he here then?
Not unless he's out there in the dark, heavily disguised as a pile of toilet seats.
Oh, well, I'll come back later then.
Tell me, is your nearest and dearest in yet?
Yeah, why?
Oh, no special reason. I just like to keep track of our big happy family. I mean, that's what we are, isn't it? One big happy family, one for all for one. What was it you said you wanted?
I was looking for Len. He wants some typing doing tomorrow.
Ah, and you, in fact, are volunteering.
That's right.
Well, I always say it's nice to have good friends. Someone to give your affairs a shove in the right direction at the right time, without a thought for their own selfish interests.
I still think you ought to let me take a look at the final figure before submitting it.
Well, I've told you, love, we haven't got the final figures yet. Me and my mate are going to work on them over a few bevies tonight, aren't we, Squire?
Why not?
I see. So, despite all my years of ungrudging service, I shan't be required any further then.
Ah, darling, don't look as if I've just shut your pet budgie in the fridge. You've done your whack. Let us do ours. And don't think we don't appreciate what you've done, because we do.
Yes. Well, if you'll excuse me.
Yes, well, you can excuse me and all while you're at it. I'm sure you two young people must have a great deal to talk about.
No, thanks.
No thanks, I've given up.
Well, that was the best meal I've had for months.
I don't know. You ought to come round when the first team's out, oughtn't he, love?
Oh?
And what my husband is trying to tell you in his modest little way is that when it comes to cooking, his knocks mine into a cocked hat.
I can't really believe that.
Oh, I'm afraid it's true enough. There's only one snag.
What's that?
We usually have to raise a second mortgage to pay for all the food and waste.
Well, we artists can't be
Anything.
muted by such mundane things as expense.
How long have you two been married?
Seems like a lifetime sometimes.
2 lifetimes.
Especially on a Monday morning when the kids have had you up all night.
I never had any kids.
Oh?
I suppose they do help.
Well, they have their entrances and their exits. Cheers.
Cheers. You know, it's a funny thing about other people's houses.
Hmm?
They have distinctive smells. I always think you can tell a happy home. It's got a nice smell about the living room. Unhappy homes always seem to smell like a dungeon. Cheers.
You're joking.
I am not joking. I'm simply telling you what Sandra told me.
Well, perhaps she's joking.
Look, mate, don't be more stupid than you can flaming help. Why would she joke about something like that?
I did knock twice, only I don't think you could hear me.
Yes, Mrs. Coleman.
Well, Mr. Fairclough's on with me pipes, so I wondered if I could just fill my kettle to make a cup of tea.
Yeah, sure. Look. Well, can I bring it round for you in a minute myself?
Oh, thank you very much.
Right.
Ta-ra, Dickie.
Ta-ra.
Well?
No, I still don't believe it.
Look, mate, I don't care if you believe the flaming world's flat. Just get your wife off my back and put things straight with Sandra, all right?
You wanted a word with me?
Yes, Mrs. Sharples.
Well, if it's my work you're not satisfied with, you can save your breath till tomorrow morning, because I never mix work with pleasure.
Oh, it's nothing like that, Mrs. Sharples.
Oh, right. Well, in that case, I'll have a milk stout.
I take it that you are still the receptionist at Mr. Howard's salon.
That's right, Mrs. Walker.
Oh, well, in that case, you'll have been given the news.
What news is that?
That I shall be making an appearance there myself in the very near future.
That's nice.
Well, you could hardly miss it, could you, Mrs. Walker?
This it?
Well, front page news on the Weatherfield Gazette, wasn't it? Or was that the sludge ship they renamed after another alderman?
Well, what about Emily Nugent?
Well, it's nothing you could really put your finger on, Mrs. Sharples.
But she's not been herself lately.
You've noticed it too?
Aye. And I can make a good guess as to what's behind it and all. Or should I say, who's behind it?
Oh?
If you sup with the devil, Ernie Bishop, use a very long spoon. But if it's Willie Piggott you're supping with, get yourself a clothesline.
Brave.
That's what I said.
You're a Stanley.
Who else?
Hilda, my pet, are you sure we're talking about the same fella?
Listen, night turn, 5 nights a week. Good enough for the Duke of Edinburgh, is that, I reckon?
That's what he's been doing. Night turn.
What you been doing?
The other night.
What night?
2 o'clock in the morning. Down at the club.
Oh.
Hey, you're not stopping to have one with me?
No, thanks.
Emily's not with you, then?
No. Do you want to talk to her?
Oh, not particularly. Why, should I?
You always find plenty to talk about when you're in the studio together.
Oh, yes. Hey, you've got a good girl there, you know. She'll make a grand partner for you. In that business of yours, someday.